Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here today. My name is Denise. I'm also known as heywigsister on Instagram and Facebook. Today I'm here to bring you a mega girl mono video. I am going to show you 6 different girl monos in 6 different colors. I'm going to talk about this style, which is my all-time favorite wig style of all wigs that I have ever tried. I'm going to talk with you about some of the challenges that girl mono presents, some of the variability you'll see in girl mono, and how I manage my girl monos and by extension curly wigs in general so that I can get the most out of them and have them looking their best whenever I wear them. So if you want to know any more about this topic, please stick around. Let's talk about it. Alright everyone, so this is the second time that I have filmed this mega girl mono video. The first time was earlier this summer and I was not happy with the final result of that video. I felt I was too scattered. I didn't really like the setting that I chose, which was my sort of family room area in the basement, and just in general I didn't feel I did justice to this topic. So crossing my fingers that this one will work, but it is a very, very significant challenge when you do videos that contain multiple wigs. Not to mention, I have 6 girl monos here that I would like to try to get through, and a lot actually to cover in this video. So a little grace would be super appreciated. If this feels a little different from my typical video, I may have to pause it here and there as I contemplate my next move, because the goal of this video is that you will not only walk away fully understanding Girl Mono by Ellen Villa, but also the challenges that you may face with curly wigs and how to deal with them in general. And that is my goal for this video. So it's kind of a review, kind of a Tip Tuesday or a tutorial, kind of a wig chat. I'm really going to combine a lot all in one. So even if you're not particularly interested in girl mono, I would love for you to stick around because I think there's something to learn from this and from my experience, because honestly, some of the most common questions I get from wig sisters are how to manage a curly wig, or I got this curly wig and it looks nothing like the reviews that I saw. So I really think there's a lot that can be learned. So let's see how I do. And while I know that some of you are really going to be curious about the colors, I really am not going to spend a lot of time on the colors. I will tell you the colors as I put them on, and I'll share with you the color codes because it's super helpful that Ellen Villa includes color codes with their color names. But other than that, I may, if I see enough interest in any one color, I'm thinking I'll probably just do a color spotlight on any of the colors that I show today that I have not talked about really in previous videos, so that we can get some color information out there as well. The color on my head is Auburn Rooted. Let me grab that tag and I'll tell you the code. So this is Auburn Rooted. It is the darkest one that I have currently, but not the darkest one that they make. And this color is 33.130.4. So we've got those auburn colors. We've got a super kind of vibrant red in a 130, and then a 4, which is a dark brown. And this is quite a dark color. It is, like I said, the darkest one that I have of the bunch. But there's a dark chocolate rooted, and then I believe they have an espresso rooted as well in this style. So there's a couple of darker ones than this one. And this one is very dark red is what I would call it. So let me set the table for you guys with Girl Mono and why I love her so much, why I think she's kind of my favorite wig of all time, and why I think she can be a real challenge. So I guess let's start with why I love her. Girl Mono is such a fun, kind of wild, but yet everyday curly style that I find so easy to wear, that I also find to have very little permatease. And now that I've got, years of experience with Girl Mono, I also find that she lasts and lasts and lasts. These fibers really are workhorse fibers, and she goes and goes and goes. And I have had that experience with multiple Girl Monos, so I feel really confident saying that about this. Let's take a look at this particular Girl Mono from all sides. just in case you've never actually seen a Girl Mono all the way around. Some of the things you're going to notice from Girl Mono to Girl Mono is the difference in the curl pattern. There is a lot of variability in the curl pattern of Girl Mono from wig to wig. Actually, that is really true of all curly wigs, but I have seen so many Girl Monos now, not just in person, but I've kind of become known as the Girl Mono girl a little bit because I do love this wig so much and I have shared so much about her. And so a lot of people have actually purchased Girl Mono because of my recommendation. So I get a lot of feedback. I get a lot of pictures sent to me from wig sisters who bought their Girl Mono. Excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold. I'm going to struggle a little bit with the voice, so pardon me on that. And so that, I think, is, you know, one of the challenges, I would say, that Girl Mono has that you might find from wig to wig is that variation in curl pattern. And so you'll buy a Girl Mono maybe based on one that you've seen before in a picture, and yours may not look like that. So I am going to spend some time in this video showing you how I style my Girl Mono, what products I use on Girl Mono, which you can extrapolate all of that information and apply it to other wigs. So it's not just this is how you deal with Girl Mono, it's really how you can deal with any curly or wavy wig, and as you're trying to tame those curls or waves or get them to behave in a certain way that they may not be out of the box. This Girl Mono I've had for a couple of years now, and I've worn her, you know, a dozen to maybe 24 times. I've worn her, you know, a fair amount, but she still has a ton of life left in her. And so when I get a Girl Mono, either brand new or I take a Girl Mono out of the box, one of the biggest things that I do with it is I shake it a lot, I spray it with water, I scrunch it, and I hang it upside down. That is my best advice to you when you have a curly wig. Water, scrunching, hanging are really going to be some of your best tools as you start to manipulate those hair fibers and try to figure out how you're going to tame those curls. Girl Mono has a ton of layers, like super short layers, long layers. She is very layered and in general, very curly. I've seen some Girl Monos that come with more wave than curl and don't have nearly this amount of curl up at the front. And that's probably the most rare Girl Mono, is one that doesn't have a ton of curl. Another tip I'd like to give you with Girl Mono is I never comb my Girl Monos. I never comb them. I think that combing these fibers relaxes them far too much, and then she loses the look that Girl Mono is known for, which is this deconstructed, chaotic spiral. And so sometimes when I've gotten feedback from wig sisters who've gotten a Girl Mono, the first thing that they've done with her is they've combed her, because that's how we're used to dealing with some of our wigs, is we comb them out with a wide tooth comb. And part of the care regimen of a lot of wigs is the combing part of it. But with some curly wigs, and Girl Mono is definitely one of those, combing will wreck the curl. You may be able to get it back if you've accidentally combed it out the first time and didn't realize you shouldn't, and now you're hearing this and thinking, oh no, I combed my Girl Mono that one time and now she's ruined. You may be able to get the curl back almost exactly like it was in the beginning if you don't ever comb it again. And what I would do is I would either spray it down with water really well, get it super wet, and scrunch it up and hang it upside down, or I would soak it and do your best to try to get that curl, coax that curl back using water and air drying. And I think that, you know, could be a tip. But I will tell you that if you have a Girl Mono and you find that you love the curly ones that you see, and yours isn't doing that, if you've been combing it, that could be a reason why. But the truth is that some Girl Monos come a lot straighter than others. Some of them come actually with very straight bangs, whereas others have a lot more curl in their bangs. And you're actually going to see some variation in the curl pattern as I start to switch them out. And so my if it were me and I were purchasing a Girl Mono right now, I would be looking for the curliest Girl Mono I could get, because I really, really like, that's what I love about Girl Mono. I feel like I can work with the curl. Styling is so great when you have all that curl. And so if I got one that was really pretty straight, I'd probably send it back. I would just assume that was one of those anomaly ones that didn't have as much curl as most of them do, and I would just get another one and hope that the next one that I got was a little more curly. Another tip I can give you guys, when you're buying curly wigs and the curl is so important to you, this is where the secondary market can be super helpful. So the gently used wig market, or buying a brand new wig that is maybe never worn because it was the wrong color or the style just didn't work for the person, but they couldn't return it. Sometimes those are the best ones to get, because you can actually see the actual piece you're going to get. Most of the Girl Monos I've actually purchased from wigsisters. For that reason exactly, because I can see the exact one I'm going to get and how curly it is. And I appreciate that because of the variability that you're going to get. Girl Mono also has a lace front and a mono part. So let me take this one off and I'll show you the cap really quickly, and then I will put another one on for you guys. And then I'll just start switching them out pretty quickly. So this one, I've trimmed the lace. You see the scallop on the lace. I've done that with a lot of my Ellen Villa wigs. I feel as though sometimes you can see that lace on me, and so I do tend to trim my lace. I have a Tip Tuesday on that where I show you how to do it if you've never seen that before. And then she does have an extended nape. She has Velcro adjusters, which we love, and she runs about, I would say, average to average petite. I know a lot of average measurement sisters who can wear Girl Mono. I have a 22-inch circumference, and I do not find her tight around my head. I would say she runs smaller than, John Renault or Henry Margaux, definitely smaller than Aesthetica wigs, but I do find that Girl Mono doesn't always run as small as some other Ellen Villa wigs. And I think that they have changed their sizing in the recent year to maybe year and a half, and they are running a little bit bigger. So I do think that if you are an average cap girl, you can probably wear this one. Average large, maybe a challenge. So I'm gonna grab the next one up in line. So this, like I said, is the darkest Girl Mono that I have. And I'm going to move up to Chocolate Rooted. Chocolate Rooted was the first color Girl Mono that I got, and I wore that one out. This one is a new one. I have not worn this one yet. I'm going to pause this. My dog's out there barking, and he's stuck in the bedroom, so I need to let him out. Hold on. All right, guys, I'm back. He wasn't going to stop barking until I released him. Okay, so this is Chocolate Rooted. I absolutely love this color. It's such a beautiful auburn brunette. So let me grab the tag for Chocolate Rooted and tell you the code is 6.30.4. So it's a darker brunette, excuse me, and has auburn. That's the 30. And it really lightens up. It's like it's got lighter auburn brunette highlights in it. It's a beautiful, beautiful color. So like I said, this is a new Girl Mono. I've messed around with her a little bit. I've scrunched her. I've sprayed her. Just, I wanted to, all of these, I've done at least a little bit of something too, just to make sure that they, were looking their best and, they're not brand new out of the box. I do have one that I'm going to mess around a little bit. I didn't do much with that one. It's the light Bernstein Rooted, so that I can demonstrate for you how you can manipulate these fibers. But let's talk about how I do manage my Girl Monos. First of all, I already told you I never ever comb them. That is true for a lot of curly wigs. Depending on the curl pattern, how much I love that curl pattern, I tend to just finger comb, finger style. I get questions all the time. How do you deal with tangles if you don't comb your wigs? Well, first of all, with a curly wig, we're not as concerned about tangles as we are with a straight wig, because you're not trying to get it to look sleek and flat. And so having a little bit of tangles at the nape, as long as it's not frizzing and fraying, or a little bit of tangles on the end, finger combing should be able to organize those curls enough so it doesn't look tangled, but you don't need to comb it all the way out. If you were to comb this one, you're going to relax these curls and you're going to straighten them some, like I said. Now, you can go gently, gently over that top layer if you feel that it looks too messy or that the curls are way too defined and they don't look natural. So I'm demonstrating what I mean by that right now. Sort of that top layer to give it a little bit of a smoother look. So this side I didn't do that to, and this side I did. You can see just very subtle difference that makes. That is something that I will sometimes do depending on if I'm getting close to needing a wash, if I put product in Girl Mono and I really want to kind of maybe release some of that. That brings me to the next topic that I'd like to cover with how I care for my Girl Monos. What products do I use on Girl Mono? I really rarely use any products on any wigs, and I have shared this with you in the past. I tend to be a very, very much a minimalist when it comes to using products on wigs. Synthetic wigs are not porous. They do not absorb the products that you use on them. All they do is coat the fibers. The more products you use on your wigs, the more coating gets on the fibers, and the dirtier your wig starts to act and look. And so it starts to weigh down the fibers. They can start to look dirty. They can lose some of their natural movement. And so I'm not even a fan really of conditioning sprays on synthetic wigs for the most part. Now, there's exceptions to every rule, and some of this will depend on the conditions that you're wearing the wig in, how close it's needing to be washed. You know, I do try to go at least 12 wears, long wears, before I wash a wig. As I'm starting to get closer to needing a wash, wigs start to need a little bit of help. A curly wig might start to look frizzy. It might need some refreshing. It might need some scent refreshing. So in that case, I might spray a little bit of conditioner. One of my favorite sprays is the Simply Stylin' Light Silk Spray. I think it's a great refresher. I think it helps coat the fibers, that curly fibers especially, and helps to kind of tamp down any frizzies. It can help with flyaways. I use it very sparingly. I do not use it after every wear. There are times when I have worn a wig 10 times and have never sprayed anything on it. That is very common. Excuse me, I might need to get those darn colds. We'll grab some water. Hold on. All right. Here we go again. Pause. So using sprays very, very, very judiciously, very infrequently. You can spray your fingers, or you can gently just spray a little bit onto the fibers and then do this. Either way, that would be one of the few things I would do to my Girl Monos to help refresh the curl and help it look its best. I do, though, have another product that I will use on my curly wigs similar to that, and it's this OC Miracle Curls. It's not made for wigs. It is human hair product. You can get it at any drugstore, Target, Walmart, wherever you want. It's pretty cheap. I actually got this for less than $5 about a year ago, but I just spray a little bit of this cream, it's like a gel, and it's a very kind of oily feeling, and it smells divine. But if you're smell sensitive, it has a smell. It's got coconut and Australian jojoba oil. It just smells like, I don't know, it doesn't smell like coconut, but it smells fresh and beachy, and it's beautiful. I love the smell. I use it sometimes to help me refresh the scent on my wigs sometimes, but I just put a little on my fingers and then I run it through the ends. And what this does is it helps me to refresh the curl. So I'll start to run it through, and then I'll scrunch it up So if I feel like the curl needs some help, if it's starting to look flat, if it didn't look very curly out of the box, I'll spray it with water, I'll scrunch it, I'll hang it upside down, and then after it's dried, I'll take this and I'll start working it just in to the ends. That is one of the few. So those two products are pretty much it when it comes to like conditioning type products or products that I'm going to use to help, make the curls look better, tame some frizzies. I think they both work great. And if I use them judiciously, don't use them heavily, they're not going to weigh these wigs down and make them look dirty. The third product that I recommend everybody own is some of this trestle or wig wax. I utilize this to help bring some lift to my Girl Monos. All of them had been living in their box for a long time. And so before this video, I pulled them all out, I shook them all out, and I took this wig wax on quite a few of them to help bring some lift. So that brings me to another tip about Girl Mono. There is not very much permatease in Girl Mono at all. A tiny bit of crimpy fibers, which helps, to lift the curls off the cap, but there is no poofy, pillowy permatease on Girl Mono. When I put it on, I can feel all the way to cap. As a matter of fact, as I was pulling these out, I actually haven't worn Girl Mono in a long time. I've been wearing a lot of heat-friendly wigs and a lot of other styles recently, and I just always surprised by how low density Girl Mono is compared to so many other wigs because of the fact that Ellen Villa tends to be a lower density line of wigs. And so it definitely does not feel like a ton of hair. It has so much curl though and so many layers that it can sometimes feel poofy to a new wig wearer. I have heard this from some new wig wearers that they were a little overwhelmed by the curl and all of this. It's not because it has a lot of permatease, it's not because it has a lot of hair. It's because it has a lot of curl and a lot of volume due to that curl. But there is not a lot of permatease, which is why I think this trestle or wig wax can be so helpful to bring some volume and oomph to the curl. I'm going to switch this one out and then I will show you. Okay, so this one is chocolate rooted. So let me grab the next one in line, which is Hot Hazelnut Mix. I have all of these just hanging up on my shower rod right now. So Hot Hazelnut Mix. I love this one so much. I had another Hot Hazelnut Mix that I have practically worn out. So this is a new one as well. The one thing with Hot Hazelnut Mix, this one is not rooted. Let me grab the tag for this one for you and I'll read you the codes. The codes on this one are 30.33.31. All the Auburns, 30.33.31. It is a beautiful Auburn. There's no rooting on this one, and I struggled with that in the beginning. When I first got this color, I really couldn't wear it. It was 3 years ago, and I found it way too light for me. So it was one of the first wigs I ever rooted with a furniture marker. It worked so well, and it looked so amazing. So if you are looking for a color like this, but you need a little bit of brunette or a little bit of rooting, you can easily root it. I do have a Tip Tuesday, actually multiple videos showing how to root a wig with markers, and it works so well on this wig. So as you can see on this one, we've got tons of curl, and it's a lot more defined curl than my first one. And one other variation that you'll see in these Girl Mono wigs is the front. Now, how much lift the front has varies a ton from piece to piece. Some of them have a ton of lift right here. You don't have to do anything. This is one of them. It just comes that way out of the box. Some of them, and I do have one I'll show you, the front lays really flat, and it's going to take some effort to get the front to do what you want. May even need steam. So that's another variation you're going to find from piece to piece is how does that front lay? How much curl is up around the face, and how does that front lay. It's a real challenge if you're going to be purchasing more than one, because you're going to get some that you're going to love and you're going to get some that you really need to mess around with. So this one, like I said, I needed to put some wig wax in this one to get some lift. It was looking really, really flat. The next one I'm going to show you, I will demonstrate that because it's my, no, two more. I've got a red one to show you first. But I will be demonstrating that. But I wanted to make sure that I was getting through all of these colors. Hot hazelnut mix, so beautiful. I love the curl pattern on this one so much. It's kind of one of my favorites. All right, so let me put on Safranred Rooted so I can get to the one that I'm going to mess around a little bit with. This is Safranred Rooted. I have had this one for quite a long time. I actually wore this one this fall that we're just wrapping up here. A lot. So this one was the curliest Girl Mono that I had ever gotten. This one had really big, like bigger, more barrel-y curls than some of the other ones. Sometimes the curls are a little bit of a tighter spiral and smaller, and sometimes they're big, like this one. So that, again, is another variation that you're going to find in Girl Mono, is just that curl pattern. So this is Safranred Rooted. The color codes on this one, 29.33. They don't actually include, excuse me, the root on this one. I don't know why. I think it's probably a 6 or a 4, but they didn't include it. It's a beautiful, beautiful, vibrant, bright, sort of Irish red. And this one's been worn quite a lot. All right, let me get to the one I'm going to mess with, and then we'll talk a little bit about styling. I've got 2 more colors to show you guys. 2 more. Okay, so this one is Light Bernstein Rooted. This is a brand new one, and I really didn't do much with it out of the box. I didn't use any of the sprays or anything on this one because I wanted to be able to show you one that hadn't really been messed with. So this one is Light Bernstein Rooted, and the color code on this one, I have so many tags here, 12.27.26. So this one I would say is the transition one between brunette and blonde. It's got a 12, which is a light brown, and then it's got a 27, which has a little strawberry blonde in it, and a 26, which is a golden blonde. So you've got blondes and you've got brunette in this one. I will tell you, the feedback I've gotten from wig sisters who've purchased this color thinking it was blonde, they have found it to be more of a dark blonde or a light brown. So Light Bernstein Rooted is definitely, I would say, more of a light brown than a blonde overall, but it's got a lot of highlight. All right, let's talk about this one. How is this one different? First of all, look at how those bangs lay. There is some lift here, but they do like to lay a little bit flat. This one also has a lot of smaller spiral curls. So let's talk about what I do. So I get this one out of the box. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shake it out upside down. Shake, shake, shake. We're going to release those fibers. We're going to, get them separated from each other. I always spray my Girl Monos with water. Always, always, out of the box. I want to spray all over. I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want to get it all wet. I'm going to show you some other things. And then I scrunch, 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 shake, 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 scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. And I just really work on the lift and the curls. And then I hang it by the tag and I let it dry. That's almost every Girl Mono I've ever had. I've done all of those things. Now, sometimes when that is all said and done, you've got really messy curls that are really super defined and maybe not as separated as you would like. one tip that I can give you that does involve combing is before you put it on, after you've done all that and it's dry, I would hold it upside down and I would just gently run a wide tooth comb on the under layer, just that under layer. So what that'll do is it will help separate out the underside fibers, which is going to help it to lay a little bit smoother on the bottom, and it's going to blend in a little bit with some of those curls. Now, you can take all the way through to just the outside if you want. If you feel that your Girl Mono is too separated, that is one tip I will give you. And then when you put it on, it's given it a little bit of volume and it's helped to separate out those curls a little bit. So that's one tip I would have for you. Another tip I would have is this wig wax is so amazing at giving a wig some lift off the cap that doesn't have a lot of permatease. And so I find Girl Mono responds super well to this spray because it doesn't have a lot of permatease, but I do like to give it a little bit more lift kind of at the cap area around here because I don't want it looking like a lifeless mop on my head. With all of those curls, you do run that risk. So what I do is I take this and I spray it. I sort of move the fibers around and then I take it upside down and I shake it. So now I'm going to shake it upside down and, you know, maybe do a couple of passes just to see how much you need to do. Sometimes just a little bit like that is all that's needed. I do have a review of the wig wax, so if you've not seen my overall review of that spray, I have, please look for it on my channel. I'll try to think of linking anything I've talked about in the description, but I love that wig wax, and I love how it gives a curly wig like this just some lift, but it doesn't make it sticky, it doesn't make it crunchy. It just really helps a lot. And then if you're dealing with a front that isn't laying how you would prefer, if you've gotten one of those Girl Monos that doesn't have a lot of lift, this wig wax is great. I'm gonna look behind so I can see in the mirror at giving bangs some lift. So just spray it and then start working on getting a little bit of lift in those bangs, and that will help a ton. It's so good. I just think between the Simply Styling Silk or the Miracle Curls, I think these guys can be a little bit interchangeable. And the wig wax, you really don't need other styling products to help your Girl Monos look fantastic. So that is how I would deal with a Girl Mono out of the box as I'm trying to work with it. And then depending on, do you want less curls? Do you want a little bit more blended out curls? That's when you start to decide, am I going to start running a comb through this? And then I would do that very slowly and carefully until you've gotten it to look the way you want it to look. All right, I have one more. You see my cheeks are getting red? It's starting to get hot in here. Okay, one more. And this is the lightest one that I have. So this one is Girl Mono in Caramel Rooted. The color code 20.26.14. So this is a golden blonde. And this one has my least favorite bangs. Of all the ones that I have right now, I'm struggling the most with the bangs on this one. So this is Caramel Rooted. It's got that root. It doesn't tell us what the root is, but it's a dark one. So I've worn this one a number of times already, and I always style this one into clips because I do not like the way the bangs lay on this one. So I'll talk with you about styling Girl Mono as soon as I show you this one all around. We're getting to the finish line. Actually, I'm not sure what the back on any of these look like. I didn't really spend much time looking at the back. All right. So this one you can see again, variation in the curl pattern. It's a lot more relaxed and a lot more deconstructed. So the one I just had on had a ton of more tight spirals all throughout. This one, those curls are not anywhere near as defined or organized. Another variation, again, with Girl Mono is that curl pattern like we talked about. And then it's a lot straighter here. Some Girl Monos, you will get the curl goes almost all the way up to the cap. I would say the light Bernstein Rooted one I just had was more like that. This one, we've got a lot more straightness going on right here. That is another one of those variations. That's not my favorite variation. So when I get a Girl Mono like that, I struggle with it a little bit trying to figure out how to style it. So let's talk about styling, because this one does not have my favorite curl pattern. I don't really love the way the bangs lay on this one. The beautiful thing is, because Girl Mono has a lace front and it's a good lace front, you can do off the face styling, which will help if you get one that doesn't have bangs that you love. So one of my tried and true type of styles that I use all the time on lots of wigs is the claw clip twist. So you just kind of take that front there, look behind so I can actually see what I'm doing, and you do a little twist, and then you clip it up. And you can do multiples, you can do one, you can do teeny tiny little twists and clips. So there's a second one. You can use bobby pins instead of claw clips. So that is actually how I typically wear this one. I find some way to clip. It may not always be this exact way, but because I don't love the bangs on this one and I don't like the fact that the curl doesn't go all the way to the top, I tend to wear this one up when I wear it. Because then you've got that, I can, now let's try some of this stuff. So my Miracle Curl, my Aussie Miracle Curl. And trying to get a little more scrunch worthiness in these curls, a little more definition. And I just love the way it smells, so, there's that bonus. But, so then I'll do something like that. And you can see she looks fuller, she looks more curly. And I just like the way this front looks better now that I've gotten it kind of up and it's not laying so flat. So that is one of the things you should be prepared to do when you get a Girl Mono is, different styling. Because the curly wigs are super fun to style, especially if you have clips. I mean, you can literally kind of take clips and clip up just everywhere. If you feel overwhelmed by the way that the hair lays, you're not used to having so much hair, so much curl, whatever it might be, you can go throughout the wig and you can just kind of clip pieces up here and there, and that will help. It will help pull some of the hair away so it doesn't feel so overwhelming. What you can do is you can actually take like a little bit of the top layer, move it aside, and then clip a little bit of an underside layer, put that top layer back down, and it will not look as full as it did prior to doing that. That is a huge tip I can give you if you're wanting to get into curly wigs and you've seen me wear Girl Mono or someone else and you're like, that's gonna be my first curly wig. That's the one. And you get it and you think, oh my gosh, I'm not ready for this. Then clips, little tiny claw clips, they make them in all different sizes. I have a whole bunch of them linked in my Amazon store, which is in the description. And then you just start strategically clipping. Clip, pull it over, you know, move over here, clip, pull it over, and you just work your way through the wig until it's in a style that you can manage. Another great accessory that are so good with with curly wigs are headbands. I love these headbands. They're some of my favorite accessories. Again, I have them in my Amazon store. I got them on Amazon. And you can just sort of work your way around the wig. How do you want to put the headband on? These are so foolproof because you don't have to do any tying. And so you can get the bangs up off and like leave some down. You could put the bangs forward and stick it behind the bangs, whatever you want to do. But what this will do is it will change up your look. It'll keep bangs out of the eyes if that's something you're struggling with. It will help you if you don't think that the curls are laying as face framing as maybe you want. Maybe the pattern of the curl in the one that you got isn't ideal. Then you can put a headband in and then you can arrange those curls. I mean, look how cute that looks. This one does not have my favorite curl pattern at all. But I still love it because I can do these types of things with it. I wear headbands with this one. I wear clips with this one. I don't think I have ever worn this one unstyled. If I'm in the mood for this color, or if I really want to play around with style, if I'm in the mood to style and use accessories, this is the one I grab. You know, the light Bernstein Rooted one that I had on, I love that curl pattern a lot. I may not want to style that one as much because I may not want to disrupt that curl pattern all the time and, you know, risk ruining the curl pattern if I mess with it too much. So if I really kind of want to do a headband and I want to do a cute casual look, then I'm going to grab this one because I don't like this curl pattern as much. I'm not as worried about it. All right, everyone, that was my last Girl Mono. So hope that you not only got to get such a good sense of Girl Mono because I just put on so many of them, but that you're starting to, those wheels are turning for you and you're starting to think about how you can do this. How can you make wigs work for you? How can you deal with it if you get a wig and it's not perfect? It doesn't look like the reviewer showed it. And so what can I do? Styling, accessories, products, you know, just work with them. You can always thin it. You can always trim up those bangs a little bit. Girl Mono is a tricky one to cut bangs into because you do not know what your curl pattern is going to be in the one that you get. And if you get one like I have where it's like got a super lift right here, I've had some that are just like literally just so lifted in the front. You're never going to get that to lay flat unless you're going to use steam or heat on it. So that is going to be the trick. If you are a bang person and you really want Girl Mono, I can't promise you that it's going to be an easy thing for you to manage. The front, how curly it is, how it lays is really going to impact what you're going to have to do to make bangs work. You can always take steam to a wig and straighten out some of the bangs, flatten out some of the bangs. That is always something that you can do. Well, you know, how hard it is, how much work it's going to be, how well it will work will vary. But I will just tell you that with Girl Mono, some are easier to cut bangs into than others. But I would just say, you know, don't be afraid. Just do your best, dive in, and know that you will be able to make it your own if you're willing to work on it. All right, everybody, that's it. That's my Mega Girl Mono. Super long video. Showed you a lot. We talked about a lot. I hope that this helped you. Every time you learn something new, your wig journey is going to be more joyful and easier. And I'm all about that. So hopefully this was good. Thank you for being here. Please like, subscribe, share if these types of things are helpful. And let me know if you have questions or if there's something I didn't cover or didn't answer in this video. And I'll do my best to get you the information. All right, I'm gonna melt. I gotta go. Talk to you soon.